Hey guys, so welcome to another World of Warcraft video, and for today's video I am just going to give you guys some tips and stuff for getting your B mount if you haven't already gotten it. I completed mine last week, and I just thought I'd show you some stuff that I had recorded during the grind and all that. So right now we're starting the video on an alt. Most of the video will have my druid, but I thought I would start it with the mage because what I did is I had looted the jelly magnet, and basically what it does is it increases the amount of jellies that you get for 30 minutes. I had hoped I would loot it on my druid, to be honest, because my druid already had the goggles, I had the rep, so I was already getting a higher amount and higher chance at rich and royal. So it was a little unfortunate that it ended up being on a character that really was only out here for the daily kill to just pass my druid whatever was looted off of there. So what I did is I grabbed someone that had goggles so that it would be a fast grind for 30 minutes, and yeah. So the jelly magnet is pretty good even with very little rep on this character. I had a moment here and there where it was 5. I imagine if you have the rep, you could probably get like 8 at a time or something like that. On the topic of tips, I highly suggest the goggles when you can get them. You get them at Revered. I'm not going to go too in-depth in this video of what's done out here, mainly because I've done a B rep guide already. I'll link it in the description if you want to check that one out. This video really is just to kind of show off my mount, give you a tip here and there of what helped me get there a little faster, and all that, and some things that I got along the way. So I got almost all the pets. The only one I didn't get was that Pappy or whatever it is. Yeah, so I'm really happy about that. Also, one more thing before we swap characters here that I would suggest as a tip. I didn't think of it really on my druid, but on the alts I do think of it. But it's the mono hardened stirrups. So if you're on a druid, you don't have to worry about that because you don't really get knocked off your flight path. But if you're on an alt, you may want to grab some. There's some in the auction house, or if you're a blacksmith, you can make them. They are stirrups that you put on your mount that basically allow you to interact with objects without getting bumped off of your mount, so you won't have to dismount, and it lasts for 2 hours. One thing worth noting regarding them is that if you die, which you shouldn't out here, but if you do, you'll still have them. So it does persist through death, just like flasks do. Now, there is one thing that's a little weird with them. It's leaving the area. With this item, you are supposed to leave the area. I've done it multiple times when I've had this item on me where I left to go to Dal or, to Stormwind or something. However, my boyfriend, who is the paladin in this video here, he said he had just kind of like stepped out of Stormsong and it had vanished on him. So there might be something a little buggy with the leaving thing. So maybe just to be on the safe side, wait till the buff's almost done and then leave. But realistically, you should be able to leave and not lose the buff. The only time I know that it does 100% vanish on you other than, the timer expiring, of course, is if you go into a battleground. That is a 100% it will go away. Yeah. As for the mats, it's really cheap. So if you are a blacksmith, the mats is 25 monolite ore and then your 2 durable flux that you just buy off the vendor. So the mats are really, really cheap. And my last tip is to try to farm the jellies at maybe a more dead time. I know that might be kind of impossible sometimes because there's some people that have to work really early in the morning. There's some people that maybe work a graveyard shift and you're not around during the dead times. So I get that might be a little tough at times, but really the way it goes is the deader it is in game, the better it is for your farm, because there are multiple times you'll come across a jelly, go to click it, and it'll say source not found. Over on my shaman, I was actually parking this alt out there as well, because all the alts were parked on, maybe you guys know that rock that's at the side, just a little in front of the honey smasher. That's where I parked all my alts pretty much the whole time. And they would just log on, kill the smasher, log off, and then at the end of the week I'd, drag them to a mailbox and they'd, mail everything off. So during one of the kills of the honey smasher, my shaman had looted this item, which is specific to a shaman because it is the Tomb of Hex. It's the living honey. And as you can see here, I demonstrate what it does. Now, on the topic of abnormal things, I was really hoping to get the inscription, because there is also an inscription. It's called the Technique Glyph of Dire Bees, and my main was like out there every day, killing this guy. So realistically, I should have gotten it, but I never did. And I'm kind of sitting back here like pondering on whether I want to keep, going out there daily to do the kill to see if it drops. But the only problem is it sounds like it drops from the honeyback harvesters and not the smasher. And I'm not totally sure if I'm gonna go with that theory though, because no one seems to know for sure that it's only that source. And with me, the shaman item dropped off the honey smasher, so at least I have like full evidence right there that those items drop off of there. The rogue item also dropped off of the smasher, so I personally believe the inscription also does. But if you look at any guides, people will probably just tell you it drops off the honeyback harvester because that's what Wowhead has guessed that it'll drop off of, but there, like I said, there doesn't seem to be a 100% guarantee that they know that it drops off of that and only that. Even in their post, they say probably drops from the honeyback harvesters. So, So next up is the rewards. In this video, you see that I get to Exalted, and when you get to Exalted, you don't instantly get the mount at that point. You will still have to hand in stuff to the little bee that's at the left when you enter the cave here. And once you get the rep the rest of the way there, then you just get a quest instantly off of there and you hand it in, you get the mount. So the mount is pretty easy. I was thinking there was going to be like some other little event you had to do to like after you got the quest, but seemed pretty easy. Now, originally I was trying to hold on to some of my jellies because I wanted to purchase the collected Tide Bloom honey, which was originally the quest I thought was the mount back when like it was day 1 or day 2 of this event starting up. But it turned out it was something else, and after some research, because it was kind of pricey, it was 35 royal jelly, I wanted to make sure it was worth it. And after some research, I found out that it wasn't. Basically, people had made note that you spend those jellies to like get other jellies, which makes no sense. Why would you spend 35 royal jellies just to have a chance of some others? Maybe there's a chance that you get a pet or something in there. Who knows? But it seemed really weird. Like someone said they had bought it, and when they did the quest, it had given them like a thin jelly and some other jelly and something else. Like, yeah. So I chose to opt out of it because, I was kind of sick of grinding anyway. At this point, I had the mount. So what I did is I had already farmed the 35 royal jellies, and I saw the butterfly net in there, which was for 25 royal jellies. So I got the butterfly net instead. It's cool, but it doesn't really last that long. But it's still a cool item. It's kind of like a toy, except it's not a toy that you really put in your toy collection, because it's not legitly titled as a toy. And it's got a 30-minute cooldown on it. And we'll show off the mount a bit here while I do my outro of the video, because that concludes this video. So like I said, I will put the bee guide that I did a couple of weeks back. I'll put that in the description of this video. That way, if you want a little more info, that was a more in-detail guide, whereas this is just a, hey, look at me, I got a mount. This is not a guide whatsoever. This is just a show-off type video. But yeah, I will have that in the description. I hope you guys are having fun with your grind. If you have the mount, do you like it? Do you think it was worth the grind? Is it a mount that you plan on actually using? And yeah, that is really all I have for you guys. My thoughts on it is I think it's super cute, and I have it on my bars. Yeah, I do actually use the mount, which is really weird for me because I do a lot of mount farming, and there are a lot of mounts that I legitly, as sad as this sounds, farm just for the number, but I think the mount looks horrible, or I think it moves horribly, or something is wrong with it that I just don't use it for the most part. And yeah, so it's nice to finally have done a farm of a mount that I know I'll actually use. It's been kind of a while since I've had a mount like that. So yeah, because like my current mount that I pretty much always use, I got it out of Arathi when the war fronts opened up at the beginning of the expansion, and I lucked out with those mounts, and I got pretty much all of them all in a matter of 2 weeks. So I've been using the white raptor for a long time. Yeah, and I still do, because it's as you guys know, raptors can't fly, not yet. So it's a ground mount, so it makes sense to put a new flyer mount in there. Anyway, that is all I got to say, so hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you in the next video. Bye guys.